Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you. Whenever you'll be seeing this video, this is your instructor, James Shelton, here again, as I promised I would be with another video looking at the big assignments for this class. One you've got coming up this week. The bigger ones are a bit further down the road, but did want to go over them and give you just some kind of uh, kind of an orientation to them as we go. And so there are a couple of very helpful documents, and you'll find them linked throughout the course. I am on the modules page here on Canvas, and I have scrolled down to just before week one to a section of the modules called Useful Tools. And I'm going to spend the rest of this video looking at these two documents in particular, the journal entry summary and response paper instructions, and your parable recreation instructions. And I would encourage you to familiarize yourself with them as well. So as we take a look, just kind of going in order with the assignments for the course, uh, as the document continues to load here, you'll see that you do have a journal entry coming up this week, journal entry one for week one. And again, we're asking you to write a paper summarizing what you believe is the essence of Jesus's mission in the Gospels, whatever your prior knowledge was coming into the course. We're just asking you to write that out in 500 words. And I think I mentioned in the video from Sunday evening that I'm a stickler for word count. And so you really need to be between 475 and 525 words for this I'll put it like this: if you're not at least at 475 words, you're more than likely going to lose a letter grade. But so we want to pay attention to that and make sure that we honor the requirement there. And points will be deducted for poor grammar and lack of coherent and well articulated thought as well. And you can take a look at that. That's due by the end of this week, next Sunday, the 14th of May. I'm going to do these in order. In week four, coming up, after you have read through the Gospel of Luke, we're asking you to write a response paper, again, 500 words in length, which briefly summarizes the main emphases of the Gospel of Luke as you understand it. What themes, and there are definitely Lucan themes that emerge, just as there are in Matthew, as there are in Mark, and as there are in John. There are themes that emerge that are particular to Luke. So what themes do you see emerge from your readings? And also tell us what you were surprised to find out about Jesus. Again, 500 words on that, and that'll be due at the end of the fourth week of the course. Now, in week six, you will have completed your reading in Philip Yancey's The Jesus I Never Knew, and it will be time for you to write a response paper. And this response paper is broken up basically into two parts. Uh, One part covers about two-thirds of the paper, and the other part, the other third. You're going to give us a summary of the book and basically give a picture of the whole of Yancey's argument. And what this summary does, as is mentioned here, is that it proves that you have indeed read the entire book and you have understood it. And so that's going to take up two-thirds of the paper. And then following that, what we'd like for you to do is dialogue with the author and pointing out places of strength and places that you may have found weakness in Philip Yancey's observations and his arguments. And what we're going for here is it shows your ability to sort through the material and ask good questions of what you're reading. All right. And that'll be the other third of the paper. So it's just broken up into two parts. This one is 1,000 words in length. And again, we'll be looking for good grammar and lack of coherent and well-articulated thought. What I would like to say to you at the outset is that here at Point University, we have an online writing center. It is free to use, and I want to strongly encourage you, all of you, to submit your work to them first before you send it to me. If you have time, if you're a fairly decent writer and don't feel as if you need to, that's fine. But If it's been a while since you've done work like this and written papers like this, maybe you've never done this. I again strongly encourage you to visit the online writing center here at here at Point, and you know where the links are to that. And so again, I want to encourage you on that. All right, the last week of the course, along with your parable recreation, which I'll get to in just a moment, you have a second journal entry, and this is going to be the longest paper that you're going to write in this course. This is going to be 1,500 words in length. And the way I like to think about these papers is instead of looking at that and going, 1,500 words, I mean, you've written 1,500 words between your Luke summary, your journal one, and your Yancey response paper. You've actually, if you've observed the word counts, you have already done that. So I would encourage you to break it up however you need to break it up and look and think of it like that. However, whatever it is that helps you to not, just kind of, oh my gosh, you may not have ever written something of this length, but just be aware of that. And what we're asking you to do is like you're doing this week, but after having gone through the course, we're asking you again to write a paper that what you believe is the essence of Jesus' mission in the Gospels based on what you've learned. Highlight things that surprised you and ways that your view of Jesus has been changed or strengthened as a result of what you've studied in the course. Be specific. Cite references from the Gospels. I mentioned this in the first video. Do not plagiarize. Do not take somebody else's work and copy and paste it from somewhere, or copy it down from a book and not give credit. We really want to hear from you. We do want you to cite when it's necessary, but really we want to hear from you in this paper. Make sure your thoughts are well reasoned. So those are the big writing assignments for the course. And now I want to shift gears and take you to the parable recreation. And the big thing that you need to know right now is that you need to be thinking about which parable you would like to do the recreation assignment on, and let me know by the end of next week, the 21st of May. I should know from each of you. I should have your parable and have approved it by then. All right. Um, okay. So what you're going to do for this is you're going to do what we're calling a parable recreation, and you can do this in one of two ways. Okay. On this document that you see here in Canvas, you'll see that we have a link which will help you to learn how to upload your videos to YouTube if you decide to do a video. But also, you have the option of submitting a PowerPoint presentation via the assignment link. You can do either one of those two things, and I'll have more to say about this as we go through the course. Now, what we're looking for here, whether you do a video or whether you do um, a PowerPoint presentation, is a creative retelling of the parable, all right, and your reflections on its meaning and significance, both to Jesus' original audience, the early Christians, and our contemporary context. And one of the best ones that I can think of to use is the parable of the Good Samaritan. A dense, thick, deep parable told in response to a question Jesus is asked, who is my neighbor? All right. So in that day and time, Samaritans were not looked upon very highly. All right. Now, that word doesn't really have the flavor now as it did then. So, in your creative retelling of the parable for today, you would obviously put it in the current context, but you would have to think about, okay, while the question is the same, who is my neighbor? We ask that ourselves. We have to think about Samaritan. What would be a synonym for that? Who are the Samaritans in our world, even to us personally? And you're just going to need to dig deep on that and think about that. If that's the one you choose to use, that's not the only one. There are many parables that can be used, but what we're wanting you to do is do a creative retelling. In other words, have fun with it. But also, be able to reflect on their meaning and significance in its original context and today. Because these are key components whenever we share the gospel. We have to make connections to Jesus's original context, and then, only then, can we then pull it across to our contemporary context. Here, at number three, it needs to be an original retelling. All right, you're not a summary, not looking for a summary, and again, not the creative work of another. No videos found on YouTube. A creative retelling should update the parable for a modern audience in ways that communicate the point of the parable and do it in such a way that a more contemporary audience would understand it and relate to it. And that goes back to my mention of Samaritans, not a word that we use very much. Again, it must involve a video or a PowerPoint presentation. Videos must be 6 to 8 minutes long, and PowerPoint presentations must contain at least 10 slides. And either way you go, either the video or the PowerPoint, they must end with three things: the meaning of the parable, its personal impact on you, and then its impact on our understanding of Jesus. How did it impact the first century viewers as well as the contemporary ones? Now, there are other there are other instructions for this regarding a discussion forum, week 7. I'm going to skip those for this video so as to not make it any longer than this, but I did want to get this out to you today and just kind of let you know about all of this stuff that's coming up. Here at the beginning of the course, this all can seem like, how am I going to get this stuff done? It's a lot, and it is a lot, but I want to encourage you. Take it a day at a time, a chapter at a time, a lecture at a time, and you will find yourself in very, very, very good shape at the end of the course. But don't let the Yancey response paper, the Gospel of Luke summary, your journal entry number 2, or the parable recreation sneak up on you as we go. All right, we're all going to breathe. It's the beginning of the semester. We're all doing wonderfully well. And I'm looking forward to the next few weeks with you. Again, I want to encourage you, and I always want to be sure to say thank you for being with me on this journey. I'm grateful for you, praying for you each day, and we'll be back with you again soon. I hope you have a wonderful week. I'll check back in Thursday or Friday just to remind you about getting that initial post, which some of you have already done, to the discussion forums. Also, it's key. Please get your getting started. Introduce yourself post done as soon as you can as well. All right. Again, have a wonderful Tuesday wherever you are in this world. God bless you. We'll see you soon.